Today we're going to be going over setting up and using the Salt Vestiere closet system on Cabinet Vision. Here's our main screen. The first thing you want to do is go into your Parts menu, go into Assembly, Interior, and go down to your adjustable glass shelves. Go into your CNC and make sure it's set to Optimize and to go to CNC. Next, we're going to be installing the Vestiere package. So go to Utilities, Setup Package, Import, open an existing package, and click on the Vestiere closet system. Make sure you come over here to Overwrite All Matches and make sure that every dot is either yellow or red. You do not want any green dots. Import package. Sometimes Cabinet Vision crashes while you're importing a package. If it does, reopen Cabinet Vision, reinstall the package, and keep trying until you see the Import Complete button. For the Vestiere closet system, we do have a material schedule set up that comes with your package. This material schedule is set up with a few generic materials: 3/4 custom exterior panel 1 and 1.5 custom exterior panel 1. The critical things for the Vestiere system are your adjustable shelf, your adjustable glass shelf, and your unfinished back. The unfinished back is the actual back panel that's visible on the Vestiere system behind the shelves. Your adjustable shelf is your regular 3/4 or 19mm panels. And the 1.5-inch thick custom exterior panel, that is set up for your adjustable glass shelf. This is for any of your 38mm shelves that you'll be using on the Vestiere system. It's likely going to be in your interest to change your unfinished back and your adjustable shelf and your adjustable glass shelf to be the actual materials that you're going to be using in your job. But you can use these as a standard if you don't want to change them. Now we're going to start a job with the Vestiere system. In regards to your cabinet setup, your cabinet construction is not required to be set up on the Vestiere system, even though it has a cabinet construction method. What is going to be critical is your base materials. If you're going to be drawing a job that has general cabinets as well as a Salt Vestiere closet system in the same room, I would encourage you to set up your Salt Vestiere in the standard for the base material schedule, and then your cabinets on the exposed interior. Now that our job is open, we can start with our walls. All of our Salt Vestiere closets are listed in the Salt Vestiere closet system catalog. When it comes to choosing which category of cabinets that we're going to be pulling out of our catalog, we want to think about the majority of the shelves that are going on that cabinet. So if the majority of the shelves on a cabinet are using the deeper 553 brackets, then this is the category we want to choose from. If the majority of the shelves on that cabinet are the 353 brackets, then we want to choose this category. And if we need any mitered returns at the end of a run of cabinets, then we're going to choose our ends. For this demonstration, I'm going to be pulling the cabinets out of the deeper catalog, the 553 brackets. So I'm going to start by pulling out my left corner cabinet, and then my right corner cabinet. And for the space in between those two cabinets, I'm going to be using a center closet assembly. For the space in between these two cabinets, I can equalize the widths, so I can select this cabinet, hold Control, select the other cabinet, right-click, and then equalize widths. Although the equalize width feature does work for these corner cabinets as well, I wouldn't suggest using it if you want the spacing of the back panels to be the same. So when I'm selecting the cabinets for wall number 1, this corner cabinet is assigned to wall number 2. So any of these cabinets go in between can be center cabinets. But since these cabinets that are running perpendicular to these cabinets are on a different wall, we're going to choose a right closet assembly to connect to the corner cabinet. The reason for that is if we zoom in, we can see that this gap in between the two back panels is too tight. So if we select this cabinet that's perpendicular, there's a parameter that says perpendicular to corner cabinet. says none, and I'm going to say it's on the right. And that will adjust my gap to the proper size. And then I can go and select a left closet assembly for the left side. Now we can select our ends, left mitered return for the left side, and a right mitered return for the right side. You can see we also, on the room parameters, we have a shelf bracket color. So you can go back and forth between black or gray hardware, and that will show up in the material summaries as well. We also have a button for hiding the Vestiere hardware, which will hide or show the Vestiere brackets on your CAD and your renderings. If we want to use a 19mm thick panel, then an adjustable shelf is what we want to use. And if we want to go to the thicker 1.5" 38mm panels, then we're going to go to our glass adjustable shelf. Now, since a lot of the sizes are controlled by UCS, by first glance it might look like your shelves are the wrong length. That is because it's coming from a UCS and you need to reload the cabinet for it to be able to upload its sizes. So when I exit out of the cabinet and I come back in, I can see that my shelves are now the proper size. Also, something to know about UCS function is as soon as I exit out of the cabinet, the changes take effect. So you don't actually have to go back into the cabinet for it to make its changes. Now I'm going to place one more shelf for our demonstration. Now we can see in the 3D view, we do have our 3 shelves placed, but we don't have any brackets on it, and they might not be the exact shelf that we want. Maybe this is a shoe shelf, or we're supposed to have a closet rod. We assign the specifics of each shelf by going into the cabinet, going into the face or the end view, selecting the shelf that you want to adjust, and then the specific bracket type is controlled by an attribute. So I'll activate my shelf bracket and I'll say what type it is. This top one, I want it to be an oval rod hanger. My middle shelf, I want to keep it as a straight 19mm shelf, but I still need to activate the bracket and say that it is a standard shelf bracket. Now you'll see as soon as I activated the shelf bracket, I have 2 more attributes that popped up, which is the orientation of that shelf bracket. So this first attribute is specifically regarding the left side of this bracket, and it gives us 3 options: left, center, or no bracket. And then the right side gives us the same options, substituting the left side for the right side. We'll go over assigning the left, right, center, or no bracket types later in the video. Now for this bottom shelf, I actually want this to be a shoe shelf. So to be able to do that, I can see from the end view that it's currently a deep shelf. And I want to change that to a 12 3/4 depth shelf. When I select that on the attribute, it changes. And now I'm going to select the bracket type and I'm going to say shoe shelf bracket. Now we can see on the 3D view that we actually have the brackets populating, and we can see that they're a different color than the actual panels themselves. Through my section interior menu, I can also change the placement of my shelves exactly the same that I would any horizontal split in cabinet vision. Now I can go through every other cabinet in the room and do the same selections I did here. Now that we have our cabinets drawn with our shelves, we can start assigning the left, right, center, no brackets, etc. So let's first talk about this single row of shelves on the left wall that has the oval rod hanger brackets. For this left wall, we have two shelves. We need one bracket on the left, which would be a left bracket. We need one center bracket in between the two shelves that is considered a center bracket. And then on the right of the shelf, we have a right bracket. Even though it touches another shelf, it is not considered a center bracket. As you can see from the other side, the rivets are only on just this shelf that's on the left wall. Because these cabinets on the right are on a different wall, they don't share any brackets with a perpendicular wall of cabinets. So now I can go into this cabinet and start assigning its bracket type left, right, center, or none. So I go to my wall number 1 and I click on my cabinet. I go into my face view and select the glass adjustable shelf, which is the 38mm thick panel. We can see that it automatically got set to left and right bracket when we selected the oval rod hanger. And although we do need a left bracket on the left side of it, we don't want a right bracket on the right. Because again, when we go to the 3D view, this is going to be a center bracket, a single bracket that is holding both of these shelves up. We do not need a right bracket on the right side of this and then a left bracket on the left side of this. They're going to share a bracket. So I'm going to go into this cabinet, select my shelf, and now on the right side of this bracket, I'm going to select center bracket. Now when I go back to my 3D view, I have already assigned a center bracket to the joining of these shelves. So that means on the left side of this shelf, I have no bracket because I don't want to get a quantity of 2 on a bracket that I'm already ordering. And then on the right side will be a right bracket. So now I can go into this cabinet and make those selections. Here's my cabinet number 3. From the face view, I select this top shelf. The left side is going to be no bracket. And the right side is going to stay a right bracket. And we can see from the 3D view, the bracket is now gone on the left side, and I have a bracket on the right side. And if I go to my 3D view, I can still see in between these two shelves, I have that bracket in between them because it's coming from the left shelf. The selections I made for the top row of shelves is going to be the same for the middle and bottom shelf on this wall. Left bracket on the left side of the shelf, a center bracket on the right side. Now talking about this shelf on this cabinet will be no bracket on the left, right bracket on the right, and same selections for the bottom. Now the same basic rules apply for this other wall, but we do have a few areas that have a few extra details. So let's talk about the top row. We're going to talk about the left shelf first, then this one, and then the right shelf. The left side of this shelf gets a left bracket. The right side of it gets a center bracket. Now talking about this shelf, the left side gets no bracket. The right side will get a center bracket. Now talking about this shelf, left side will get no bracket because it's coming in between and from this cabinet on the right already. On the right side will be no bracket. Now talking about this shelf, the left side of it will get no bracket and the right side will get a right bracket. That exact left, right, center, or no bracket orientation is consistent on this row of shelves. And on the shoe shelves down here, this shoe shelf will get a left bracket and then a right bracket. The same is the case for the bottom shoe shelf, which is a left bracket and a right bracket. And we'll set that up on the bottom shelf just to review our selections one more time. Elevation, go to my second wall, look at my last cabinet, face view, select my adjustable glass shelf. The left side will be a left bracket and the right is a right bracket. When you select the bracket type, it automatically goes to left and right bracket. So as long as you have a left and right bracket, you don't need to go through them and change them. Now when it comes to this row of shelves which makes contact with a shoe shelf, this is an exception to the rules. We're going to talk about each shelf in the row one at a time. So the far left shelf here, the left side of this shelf gets a left bracket. The right of it gets a center bracket. And now we're talking about the shelf in this cabinet. The left side of that shelf gets no bracket because it's sharing the bracket from the cabinet to the left of it. On the right side gets a center bracket. Now we're going to talk about this cabinet on this shelf. The left side of this shelf gets no bracket because it's coming from the other one. Now on the right side, we're also going to say no bracket because we're actually going to be using a combo shoe shelf bracket from the shoe shelf next to it. So I'm going to go into this cabinet and I'm going to select on the bottom shelf, no bracket on the left, no bracket on the right. It's going to get the bracket on both sides from other cabinets. So now when I'm talking about cabinet number 7, which has a shoe shelf in line with the straight shelves of the other cabinets, I'm going to go into this and I'm going to select my shoe shelf. Now for the shoe shelf, because it's in line with a standard shelf on the left, we actually have a combo bracket for that. So on the left side, we're actually going to choose a shoe shelf combo bracket. And on the right side will still be a right bracket. So we see here when we go to the 3D view, this bracket covers not only the shoe shelf, but also the straight shelf that's directly next to it as a combo bracket. A couple finishing details here. You'll notice that from the plan view, we do have a gap in between the wall mounting brackets and the wall itself. And that is for the cleat that you will attach the Salt Vestiere brackets to attach to the wall. If you would prefer to not have the cleats themselves optimized to CNC, then you leave it as is, and you can use scrap of whatever's laying around your shop for your cleats on your wall. If you actually want the cleats to be optimized by CNC, I can go into elevation view, I can select one of my cabinets, and there's a parameter here that says activate nailer. It's currently set to false, so that means that it will not show up. If I change this to true, then I will see all of my cleats coming out onto my Vestiere cabinets, and those will be optimized. And then I can change whether they run from left to right, and I can change their length. And then I can change their length to whatever I need them to be for the run of cabinets. So 31 plus 23 is approximately 54 extra inches. And I can see that those cleats are now going to the walls. A couple more details that you may run into. Imagine this is an extra wall. Then we have a parameter set up on the cabinet to account for that. So I select the cabinet, and I see a parameter here, and I see an attribute here that gives me an option for a wall filler width. If I change this to 1.5, it will adjust my cabinet and give me a back wall filler. Last detail to make sure that our material summaries are accurate. Because of the various ways you could set up a Salt Vestiere closet system with so many different configurations and the limitations of cabinet vision, there may be times when we need to take away posts on our material summaries to be accurate to how much you need so you don't order too many. So we can see in our cabinets here, if we open them up in the 3D view, I have 4 brackets on this cabinet. On this cabinet, I have 2 brackets. And that's a problem because I'm already getting my posts from the cabinet on its left. In the Vestiere system, a lot of cabinets share their parts with the cabinets next to them. So we have to account for those in the attributes, just the same way we did for the shelves by assigning left, right, center, or no bracket. So I'm going to do a quick count of how many more posts I have than I need, and then I can reduce that amount in the corner cabinets. So this cabinet, I have 4. This cabinet, I have 2. I have 1 too many. This cabinet has 2, shares its bracket with this. I have 1 too many there. and then also here. So currently I have 3 too many. Now down here, this cabinet also has a post on the right. It doesn't need the post on the right because it's getting its post from the perpendicular cabinet. But I can also see here that I'm missing a post. So this one cancels out. This cabinet needs 1 post and it has 1 post. So that means currently I have 3 more posts than I need. And this just comes from Cabinet Vision's limitation of understanding how to share parts from one cabinet to another, when to shut them off and when to turn them on. So in these corner cabinets that have 4 posts, we have a parameter here that says remove posts. And I can say how many posts I want to remove. I need to remove a total of 3. So for this cabinet, I'm going to say remove both posts. And I can see that I still have 2 posts visually, even though they're not coming from this cabinet. That's the way it should be. And now I had 3 posts too many. I removed 2. I need to remove 1 more. So I'm going to remove 1 post from this corner cabinet. The corner cabinets specifically are the cabinets that give Cabinet Vision a difficult time understanding how many posts to add or take away. We had 3 too many posts. We took 3 away, and now our material summary should be accurate. Now I can go to my reports, report center, material summary, and now this will be accurate for ordering out our hardware for the Vestiere system. Thank you guys for your time. If you need any assistance with the Vestiere system or drafting projects, please feel free to contact me and we'd be happy to help you out.